Revelation 1915. From the 13th of May 1941. Soulwork on fellow human beings. Blessing on earth. Every activity for the benefit of the human soul is beneficial. For if a person considers how short earthly time is compared to eternity, and if he further considers the minimal success he can achieve on earth, but on the other hand imagines the value of spiritual striving in eternity and the happiness of the soul, which can exhibit spiritual wealth, he will not hesitate for long and start working on his soul. And only then will he pursue the right purpose of earthly life. And what the human being does for his and his fellow human beings' soul, God already blesses on earth. He stands by him in earthly hardship. He will always be willing to support the work on the soul, and earthly life will always correspond to the desire for spiritual maturity. And therefore people should faithfully and trustingly hand themselves over to divine guidance, for if they are serious about spiritual progress, every day will bring events which are conducive to this spiritual progress. And the human being truly need not fear. The more faithfully he devotes himself to God, the more successful his earthly life will be for eternity. And if the human being places his life, his earthly activity and his spiritual work at the service of his neighbor, if he thus lovingly works to help his neighbor attain spiritual maturity, he will already receive abundant blessings on earth. He will not need to suffer hardship, he will escape severe affliction. He will banish his fellow human beings' suffering and now also be relieved of his own suffering. Suffering and misery will only pass him by like a dream, and God's blessing will rest on everything he starts, for he is driven by love and concern for the human soul. Consequently his soul will also be granted relief on earth. And thus the human being may confidently look forward to the future. If he is still oppressed by sorrow and worry, he himself is not faithful enough. He still sees too much of the earthly events around him, he pays too much attention to worldly things, and therefore these things also approach him as a test of his faith. If he learns to overcome them, that is, if he ignores them, they will no longer burden him, and now he can eagerly devote himself to the actual work of preparing his fellow human being's soul for eternity. Amen.